We're going.
Okay, hello everyone. Here we are at the Swing State Studios. Since we've been knocked down by YouTube twice, we're back to the liquor store surveillance camera here until we get over 1,000, and then we can start streaming from our iPhone 11s. But anyway, I'm here with the great Addy, the chosen one.
Folks, how's it going? I was in the first broadcast this evening, but I didn't want to join McDuffin, Hamamoto, and George. But here we are. We're just testing out this new setup that Andy's got going for us on the new channel. Andy, it's Neighborhood News Studio. That's right.
Correct.
Okay, so Neighborhood News Studio. I'm going to be subscriber number 93. So coming at you, folks.
Yeah. So if you type in your search bar Neighborhood News Studio, or better yet, tweet this out right now and say, "Hey, these guys now have a channel again," until Eric Schmidt or Wendy Schmidt gives another $15 million to promote their imitation of Neighborhood News Hour.
Did you tweet it out? There's two people in the chat at the moment.
Yeah. I haven't tweeted it out yet, but if somebody gives me my phone over there, I will give it. Yeah, just hand me my phone.
Tweeting it right now.
This would be the real life.
I'm going to mention you in it, George.
See how
see what kind of bump we get. You know.
But we sound good. I'm listening to us.
We sound good.
You
Okay.
see that right there? That's why we need the better upload speed, Aaron.
Yeah. So we're clipping a little bit, or yeah.
Which means the drop frame rates.
Okay, so we're upgrading everything. So that's the good news.
We need donations.
Yeah,
We're upgrading everything, so we don't need to bring everyone into the production. But the good news here is we still can bring you the content, even though we don't have necessarily the presentation. We can still bring you the content. We can talk about the key things that are happening right now in the news that we find a little bit interesting or funny, or things that need to be drilled down on. And I'll start with three things I'll throw out. One is the Hunter Biden blackberries. That's going to be really important. And then Bob Ulinsky questioning him and saying, "Hey, you said Hunter met with you in Kazakhstan. Were you meeting with Idrisov? Were you meeting with Chris Hines?" Because Kerry's the father-in-law did the deal with Idrisov for the yellow cake, for the Iran deal. You met Hunter Biden was the personal secretary or personal lawyer for Yi. The guy was the head of the Belt and Road Company, the CEFC company. They went and did a deal in Moscow in May of 2017 with Putin. You know, timeline. Tell us where you were at different times. You went to Luxembourg. I think that Bob Alinsky said they went to France. I think that was NATO headquarters, which is Mons, France, shape headquarters. Tell us when you went to these different famous places for gun running or you know, making nuclear deals happen. So that's
Andy. Sorry.
That's my number one thing, and I'll tweet it out now, and we'll see what kind of uplift. What do you?
I'm sure we're gonna get a couple people joining because George tweets it out. I actually just tweeted it, George. It should be in your mentions. If you don't want to type anything in, you can just retweet it.
Oh, great.
Otherwise, you can compose a new tweet too if you want. But I was talking with Aaron earlier, and we're not going to monetize this channel because of several reasons. One, I think, well, just speaking for myself, I think it was partially the reason that we got kicked off was a very small channel with a relatively large surge of donations coming in. Definitely caught some people's attention, and regardless, I think that a lot of people have lost trust with Google and with YouTube as far as giving donations to us. We had Connie ask, I think it was yesterday, about mailing donations in via, just pretty soon here because we don't want to give away the exact address. For obvious reasons. So it's something we're working around as well with demonetization. We are hoping using this strategy it'll give us some more longevity as far as staying on the airwaves of YouTube. So that being said, we hope that anybody who wishes to give support does so. As we mentioned before, there's a GoFundMe set up. It's on George's Twitter, and that is for our class action lawsuit against the tech empire. And this is separate, just to be very clear, this is separate from George's.
Come here and find those servers, Beaux.
Beaux. I think Beaux is hearing some of Brennan's lackeys creeping outside, and he's getting a little spooked at that. So, the McCabe lackeys, they like to creep around the dumpsters sometimes. But as far as the lawsuit, as I mentioned, that class action lawsuit is separate outside of George's individual lawsuit against Donnie O'Sullivan and CNN, just so people don't get confused on the donation. The donation will be the class action lawsuit. So George is not asking for donations for his particular individual lawsuit. I want to say hi to Kimberly for checking in. Thanks for checking in, Kimberly. But we're live here just on a late night broadcast with George Webb and Dave.
And Beaux here.
Beaux stretched out.
The wonder dog is going to find, he's a truffle dog, so he's got a good smeller. And he's going to find, hopefully, the Bob Ulinski papers that got sent via UPS out to out to Tucker Carlson for that interview. Just amazing that this stuff happens, and it sounds so. It sounds so Steve Bannon.
Did they put it on the Pony Express, and did they get the train or the highway robbers get them? Was
the
that
arrow went through the cheek
or
and
was
all
it,
that?
Yeah.
Or
did they put it on the Transcontinental Railroad to send it across? Like, it just seems like the whole idea of losing this key evidence in 2020, it's a tough sell. I'm shocked they're going for it, but it just doesn't seem like it just seems like they would have procedures and safe handling of evidence.
Taken it on a plane, and put it in there and carried it, like a courier. I mean, this is critical evidence, right? This is stuff that the Department of Justice would have made sure that wouldn't be lost. The chain of custody wouldn't be lost. So, I think the Bob Ulinski interview with Tucker Carlson was poor. He spent about a half an hour asking him how upset he was, and he didn't ask the questions like, whose BlackBerries were they? Was it James Biden's BlackBerry? Was it Hunter Biden's BlackBerry? Were you the communication proxy for Yi, the Chairman Yi, for this Belt and Road Initiative? You were traveling all around him. You called him my chairman. So you seem to be the guy who was the kind of the BlackBerry carrier and the message guy for all the kind of the equivalent of the nuclear football guy for Yi. And then it seems like we had another guy maybe for the Russian side of this. Remember, the uranium has to come from Russia to go to China to put this Belt and Road in with all these small nuclear reactors. So, ask some questions like, you were going to meet Hunter Biden in Monaco on a yacht. Whose yacht? You were going to meet in Luxembourg. Were you over at NATO in Luxembourg? Where in Luxembourg were you at? You were in France. Why not say I was in Mons, France, at SHAPE headquarters, NATO headquarters? You've been all over the world, Addy. You give us information. You say, I was in Uzbekistan. I was over there with NATO over here. I was there with NATO over there.
Well,
Italy.
Go
ahead.
One of the other questions I feel like is whenever
I plead the fifth, George.
Whenever we hear Rosneft, I feel like how can you not remember Carter Page dangling the
9%.
The 9% of the Rosneft, the state 9% industry,
Rosneft,
being offered to Trump, as part of an inside deal from the 2016 election.
And now it's
Bob
yours.
Ulinski, do you know Carter Page? Like,
great question.
Have you ever done a deal with Carter Page? Like, when you were dealing with Rosneft?
Do you know George Papadopoulos? Do you know Mike Flynn? Do you know Paul Manafort? It seems like all these guys worked together for a long time.
Yeah.
Going from Libya all the way through the Iran nuclear deal. I mean, at some point, there's carryover people, and at some point, there was people at the end on the caboose that are seemingly getting blamed for the whole train. But anyway, I'll let you answer your thing about NATO.
You got something to add? I thought he did one.
George is just teasing. But yeah, I've been quite a few places around the world. And actually, We have a trip planned. Do we want to talk about that, Aaron?
Yeah, we've been honing in on the dates. We've been working a lot behind the scenes, talking about the Ghana trip coming up. The Citizen Journalism Researcher International. I'm kind of making the name up right now because we still have to.
Yeah, we're still fleshing it out, but
I mean, really, it's the George Webb celebrity cruise, right? I guess we can call it, even though it's not really a cruise. And I think
Well, I like to call it the Back
George
to
is
Africa
reluctant
tour
to-
because
yeah.
we partially white peoples want to go back and explore our African roots. I mean, we all started from Africa, so doesn't it make sense?
George refuses to be the celebrity. You know, most celebrities, like, there's that MRC catalog with, like, Rush Limbaugh and other famous people where you can get, like, a $13,000 cruise with Rush Limbaugh or a $11,000 cruise with, Prager or one of these people. And George refuses to take a dime, true to honest. Like, and he's like, refuses to take a dime, so he can't. Uh-oh.
Did you find the Bobolinsky? Did you find the Bobolinsky package?
But it's the research tour. It's the international learning and outreach tour. It's a lot of fun things that we're gonna do. We're gonna check a lot of fun boxes and learn a lot of history. And Addy's down to come.
yeah,
George
I've
is on board.
never been to Africa. Would love to go to that continent. The country of Ghana is a country I'm not that well familiar with. I know a bit about it from watching football or soccer, as the Americanos say. But it's basically a trip we want to do for many variables I think are playing into it. I think people can use it as a way to support the Neighborhood News channel or collective, as it were. Support George, and if you want to spend some time with George as well, we are. I guess what Aaron is trying to get to is we're working out what that would cost if people want to join us. And Aaron has contacts set up in Ghana, right on the beach.
Oh yeah, we got it all covered on the ground.
Yeah,
there,
it's next to like a really really nice hotel. We won't be staying in the hotel itself.
Well, that's part of the detail. That's why the flyer isn't ready, because we're kind of gonna put together a premium package and a basic package, because we have our house that we rent with 18 bedrooms, and that's kind of like more like hostel living. Like a HOSTEL. A hostel.
Right.
Yeah, we got
I bet
you.
Addy's stayed in some hostels before.
Yep.
Some people don't know what hostels are,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. A lot of Americans actually don't know what hostels are, but it's just a cheap hotel with the bare minimum.
But there's a
lot of
4-star
times.
hotel like literally right next door, so we can have a premium package and whatever.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get a real flyer out in general. But the dates are gonna be February 20th through March 8th is what we're looking at. It's kind of a weekend. Saturday was February 20th is a Saturday, so we all arrive on the weekend. Then we head out to the beach location. We spend 2 weeks.
I want to
out
meet
there.
the president of Ghana talking about the Trump plan and the Trump.
I think if you met the president of Ghana, he'd hire you immediately to be his his personal consultant, or
Great.
his keep me out of deep state.
Great.
I mean, the people in Ghana would certainly appreciate your research. But I think this trip, can be. I know that a lot of what I have, together in Ghana can help us have a good trip and a successful journey and everything. But I think George, being the investigative journalist, traveler that he is, it's something that we can do together as a little Osprey family or a big Osprey family or whatever you want to call it, and we can continue the learning and just all the work that we do, and bring it beyond the screen and get it off the screen into the real world to continue just making an impact and learning together and all that great stuff,
Okay, so I'm gonna
cut us off.
no, not cut you off, but I did want to say that I see Cindy Paul is asking, how do we stop a coup? And to be honest with you, if you hand me that Blackberry's Manor on the bottom of that, I think that's your signed copy. I'm very pleasantly
Tim's.
Tim's. I'm very pleasantly happy with this book. How much of it came true? I'm still waiting for the part that didn't come true, which was, hey, they used these blackberries partly for war in 2011 to 2015. It transitioned over to the Biden side from the House to the Senate. In 2015 over to 2017, I get the BlackBerry a week after this meeting, supposedly, with Bobolinsky and Joe Biden Sr. Everything checks out. with this book, and I'm really happy. If you haven't bought this book, it's a great book.
And what we're gonna do too, we were talking about is before then we're gonna try to do at least one book signing just in the local Midwest area here with George, because we got a bunch of books, a bunch of BlackBerry books we want to
We should do a Detroit and a Columbus.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah.
idea, Aaron.
Should do
But
Detroit.
my big point here is this is the way to beat the deep state, because when books like this come out, they say, "Oh my God, they know," and then you have Bannon right now leaking things like this phone call, which supposedly from Eric Trump, supposedly from Hunter Biden, and he's saying this guy who's already in jail, Patrick Ho, that guy's the effing head of Chinese intelligence. No, he's not. The head is Yi, Chairman Yi, and that's the one that Hunter Biden shadowed. So immediately they're trying to throw you off the wrong track. Then he talks about my business partner, Eric. Is that Eric Yuan of Zoom, or is that Eric Schmidt of Google? Or is it Eric Braverman of the Google Foundation? What's that, Tom?
Yeah, or who else?
Or who is it? Ask him. If he says it's Eric, ask who his business partner is. He's supposedly worth $323 billion. I think...
You should be able to figure out using the two facts that he's the richest person in the world and his name is Eric. You think you'd be able to narrow that down?
Yeah, but yes, I agree. But Eric Schmidt's only worth about 15 billion, and Eric Yuan is only worth about 3 billion,
Only.
or 6 billion, or whatever. Yeah, still, the richest person in the world, I would think, is Buffett. And when I hear things laid in there like the richest person in the world, and then they're trying to move it over to someone else. What I immediately think is that's Warren Buffett, because that's what I was told. It was Warren Buffett, and the go-between was Seth Rich for this deal, this Russia-China deal. I didn't know it was Belt and Road. I didn't know it was CEFC. But in this book, you'll see I wrote this way before Bob Ulinsky ever came out, right? And Warren Buffett is the richest man in the world, I believe.
Do you think they wanted you to maybe go for the Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates, get him in the mix? I feel like those two characters have been sort of introduced as sort of a red meat kind of.
I think Bezos makes a lot of sense as maybe the richest. Warren Buffett, to me, makes a lot of sense. Bill Gates makes sense. But you can see they're trying to say, well, let's record a tape that says the richest man in the world is a guy named Eric, worth $323 billion, and he wants to build LNG ports in this eastern...
Biggest LNG port in the world is what he wanted to build.
Right, in
Or
China.
he did build it.
But we know that this group built the biggest LNG port in the world in Cyprus. Again, it seems to be a throw away from the metadata. And I do think figuring out the metadata, figuring out the metadata is the way to beat the deep state, because they have to do these ridiculous school plays like they're doing with Bob Alinsky right now in this phone call. And poor Jim Hoft. I see what they're doing. And Bannon just throwing this stuff out to Jim Hoft at Gateway Pundit, and he's printing it, and he doesn't have a way of cross-checking it. I understand. But you have to think about it. Who's the richest guy in the world? Even as rich as Eric Schmidt is, or Eric Braverman, or Eric Yuan, they're not the richest guy in the world. Eric Buffett or Gates is going to be the richest guy. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
It's good. I'm going to practice raising my hand. I think that's
Okay.
going to help as we move forward, right? I cut people off too much.
Why don't you sit here?
No. Here's the thing. I got to leave in a minute and then go to work and come back. I wanted to say Thomas Paine's Common Sense was a pamphlet.
It's
you
actually
put your book down already, but Thomas Paine's Common Sense was a little pamphlet. It wasn't a big book,
It's almost the same number of pages and almost the same number of words. This is about 60 pages.
We should read Common Sense on your channel. It'd be a fun thing to do. If you
I'm sorry, it's
Yeah,
85 pages.
Common Sense.
But Common Sense was
learning
only
about it. Yeah,
52
I don't think I've
pages.
read it,
But Kimberly's asking how long is the plane ride. I think stay tuned to the Addy Ads channel. We're going to be doing a show this weekend where we answer questions about the details of the trip and how the trip could.
I wouldn't mind stopping in Paris. I wouldn't mind going on here. No, I'm serious.
Amsterdam's an easy stop. KLM. I stop. I go through KLM. Oftentimes we might fly KLM because of everything. But either way, Paris.
Here's why I think people would be interested in, because people may have seen me in Mons, the SHAPE headquarters with NATO. And they've never been there before, so they think, well, was George's film really there? Or you know what I'm saying? Or Luxembourg is close by. We could hit Luxembourg on that and see where Hunter actually met.
I think if we go on one trip, we're going to start a thing, the George Webb travel experience. Because, George, that's your thing, man.
Well,
you
once
travel,
we're there,
you do research. It's what you're about. We love it.
I'm saying if once we're there, I think you're going to have a lot more things that you're going to be interested in seeing that you don't think of right now. And so we should be a little bit flexible on the whole thing. especially with those two. Those are two that I went to. I can take everybody to the place where I said that they were running the drug thing out of the monasteries.
Yeah, and we'll do. Just head off to Dave here. Well, we'll do a simulcast too, if that's okay with everyone, on my channel, just so we get the widest reach, and so people know where to find us here on the new channel.
And we're gonna simulcast at 10:30 again. You
Tonight?
guys wanted to go 20 minutes, so we don't want to get you caught here all the way till midnight tonight.
Yeah,
you got drives ahead of you.
I was just saying for
But-
future broadcasts.
No, tonight. Let's
yeah.
go. Let's simul it.
Yeah.
I'll come back at 10:30. No, you too
Aaron
tired?
always wants to simulcast. No, yeah,
Well,
we can do a short one tonight. I did want to get my personal podcast out, just my solo chats out on Podbean
back,
as
we'll
well. So there's that. But yeah, we'll be simulcasting in the future. But Dave, you were gonna.
Yeah, I was just gonna
add
say,
something.
since I'm the bougiest, I want to make sure that we do the yacht in Monaco. That sounds absolutely
Yacht in Monaco. Why
'cause,
wouldn't we
I mean,
want to go to the
I
yacht
feel
in
like
Monaco?
I feel like the neighborhood news. What are we called now? The neighborhood news.
The neighborhood news yacht.
The studio. we need to have some yachts in Monaco, and we need to do a hunter.
Oconus lures. Think about all the
Oh,
Oconus
of
lures.
course. I feel like the best Oconus lures could be there, but we need to do sort of a Bobby Linsky hunter,
Tour.
Yeah, just a tour.
Yeah.
I feel like Matt Lawler used to, before he was.
Malta. We go to Malta.
He used to do the Where in the World is Matt Lawler. He used to go around the world and do the little specials, and I
Yeah.
feel like we could just do track down the
Malta. Just
the
think,
Bobby.
I've never been to
Oh
Malta.
yeah, I'd love to go to Malta. And
I want to see
that.
where if
Cyprus.
Buttigieg.
I would love to see the bank, the actual structure
Cyprus.
where the money's laundered through. I mean, it
Yeah.
would just be incredible to
George
see those
Papadopoulos, where he
landmarks.
went and stayed with the one-eyed
pirate
Asian
hooker,
lady.
yeah.
Asian lady. who- yeah, no, all the time he stays in the 5-star hotels, but the one night he gets the $10,000 from Mossad, that's the one night he goes to the one lady who only takes cash with the one eye and the limp.
Couple questions here, fellas. So one's a very important one. How do you spell Beaux, Dave? Is it
Oh,
B.O.
it's not BAU like Beau Biden or like the Sino Hawkbow's favorite animal. It's
just
Beau.
B.O.
It's actually he has Beau is he's a Legato Romagnolo, so he's like a truffle hunting dog from Italy. So he's from Knoxville, so he's kind of a hillbilly dog. So I call him Beau Willie as his hillbilly name, but he's actually has a bougie name. It's actually Willie Rambo Thomas, and he has.
I've never met a dog with 3 names.
Yeah, well, he's I'm the bougiest, so I have to do that. So it's actually spelled Beaux after Beaux Arts Architecture is actually where he gets it.
Wow, that
And
was a lot more interesting answer than I was expecting. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Well, yeah. There's always more to it.
Other question here. I know we're trying to keep it somewhat short, but do you think Trump has a clue about the blackberries, George?
I should hope so. If he doesn't, it doesn't really matter because I think Dan Scavino does know, and that's the guy who really counts because he was going. And you saw when I asked Eric Trump, hey, how about Twitter? How about YouTube? Where are they?
Donald Trump Jr.
Donald Trump Jr.
Yeah.
And the next day, those guys are up on Capitol Hill, or 2 days later, those guys are up on Capitol Hill. They see it. They're trying to head off the pass and try to blame. That's when CNN did the hit piece on me after I asked Donald Trump Jr. about, hey, when are we going to check this YouTube determining what's free speech and what isn't? So anyway,
We're at about 23 minutes here, guys. So I
Yeah.
don't know how late we want to go.
we should wrap tonight. I just
Okay.
let people know that bring people here so we can get off the liquor store camera.
Yeah,
And
tell your friends, try to spread it. I mean, we do. I think we only have under 100 subscribers on the new channel. We just started a couple hours ago, but for people that don't know, there are thresholds you have to meet in order to do live streaming on the iPhone. So, again,
we need 1,000.
We need 1,000. We're on the liquor store surveillance camera right now, which is fine, but we do prefer to be on the iPhone. So
Push for 1,000.
yeah, try to help us, everyone. Yeah, try to.
Everybody, when they find out we're here, they're going to come back over here, and we're not giving up. Obviously, they're trying to bicycle our users around, and that's so obvious. So
Yeah.
I want to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank you for promoting. I want to thank you for not giving up to YouTube and Eric Schmidt and all the other big guys out there.
Yeah.
This is about the little guys. That's who we're fighting for. Thank you very much. Thank you, Addy.
Yeah, thanks, George. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you.
There we go. talk about bougie.
Just
We
found you.